Hello, lovely learneds. Welcome back to A Life Learned. It occurred to me recently that I haven't done a Fibro-Journal in all of 2017, and I did want to keep that series going, so I figured I would offer you guys a little bit of an update to one of the previous Fibro-Journals where I discussed getting a gym membership. Um, One of my complaints about being poor and trying to manage my pain is that a really helpful thing would be things like yoga classes or aquafit to treat my pain, and I couldn't really afford it, and I found that very frustrating. And to my surprise, my mom felt that she could afford a membership because she'd found a special plan being offered at a festival that was like at a special price. So she got that for me, and I really do feel like I tried to partake in it, and I went honestly only a few times in 2016 and like once or twice in 2017, but really not enough to be paying for it every month. So somewhat recently I told her that if she mentioned she was having a little bit of trouble affording the payments, and I was like, then don't worry about it. By all means, let it go, because I am not doing a good job with it, and I don't feel good about that because, I mean, obviously I was complaining about not being able to treat my condition properly, and then I was given a chance and I didn't really take it. I don't feel good about that, and I know a lot of people wouldn't necessarily look good on that, but I know I tried hard, and it just, unfortunately, the circumstances didn't work out for me because other conditions tend to exist when people are in chronic pain, particularly mental health conditions. Depression is a really hard thing to avoid when you have chronic pain, and that can make it difficult to get yourself out to do things that are otherwise good for your health. And furthermore, my anxiety, particularly social anxiety, has not been getting better. Well, very recently it's sort of been on a upswing and kind of getting better, but until like June of this year, it was kind of on a downswing, and or a downward spiral, you could say. I don't know. It wasn't going so well because I was going through a lot of stress with the court experience I went through and stuff. So although it was what I needed, it didn't line up with what I was capable of doing. So I did continue to try and stretch at home when I could, but again, very difficult to keep up with any form of self-care really when you're dealing with depression. So fell out of that as well, although I've recently started to get back into it, and I've got myself now setting an alarm on my phone to remind myself to do my stretches in the morning, because that really does help in managing my pain, I feel. And one of the biggest things that's been influencing my pain, I think, is that I've been getting weaker and weaker. Because in being in pain, that makes you avoid wanting to do things that are painful. But for me, that's like using my arms or my body at all a lot of the time. So in getting avoidant to cause pain, I'm not really using my body or my muscles as much as I should, and thus I'm getting weaker, which makes things not stay in the right position because the muscles aren't strong enough to hold the bones in place as much. And women also particularly have, I don't know what the right terminology is, but more elasticity or something in our joints where like things just pop out of place more. And having weak muscles really doesn't help that, which just amplifies the chronic pain of fibro tenfold. So unfortunately, I'm very aware of why my pain has been pretty bad lately, um, in many ways, and it's just been struggling with self-care. Um, Having PTSD on top of this, and anxiety issues, and really heavy depression, as I know many of you would understand, even if you don't have any other mental health issue. If you have chronic pain, there is like a 90% chance you deal with depression at some point. So I know you understand. It's just really hard to keep up with the things that keep you healthy, or keep you as healthy as you can be within your condition, when you're also dealing with depression. So frustrating. I'm a little slightly embarrassed and shameful to be admitting that, you know, I technically had a great opportunity to embrace a holistic or non-medical, non-medication way of treating my pain, yoga and aquafit. And though I did make the attempt, I really didn't do good. I didn't do what I should have. But this is where therapy needs to come in. where you need to remember, if you've seen my past videos where I've talked about therapy, I've mentioned the idea of not shoulding on yourself. My therapists have insisted on many cases that it is just simply not healthy to think about what you think or feel you should be doing. You need to recognize what is within your capabilities. And so in my case, getting out of the house has been difficult. So I've recently asked some friends, I haven't got a response yet, but I've asked if any local friends want to start walking with me regularly to get me out of the house. And otherwise, like I said, I'm setting an alarm to get myself to actually keep up with those regular morning stretches. And these are things that I can do within my own home and within my own time and space. And I'm realizing that I need to start small, even though I want to go huge, if I want to work my way up to getting into yoga classes, which is both going to be excellent for my chronic pain as well as my mental health. My therapist repeats over and over and over that she's read many studies about how good it can be for PTSD in particular, because the way that your body is flowing and something about doing it in group is apparently really good for you. But the idea of having to go out and deal with a group of people, I'm just like, or I could not. Yeah, I think I'll just stay here and be in pain. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not necessarily choosing pain. It's just it's really hard to choose to fight your anxiety when you're already weak from being in pain constantly. It's like can't the thing that I'm working towards to reduce the pain also not be so incredibly hard and painful, please? And sometimes that's not the case, unfortunately. And other times, yeah, like I was saying, you just need to recognize your limits. And so, yeah, the gym membership didn't work out so well for me, but I am actually hoping that as I build myself up like this, because I'm now out of the major, huge stresses of my life with the court being over, I'm really starting to work better on mindfulness, and my therapy is not moving as fast as I want because I'm impatient, but it's moving. And with that and focusing on mindfulness, I'm just starting kind of trying to be mindful to start slow and to do what I can. And that's a good idea for you too. If you're dealing with chronic pain, try to ground yourself in the reality of what you can do, what you are capable of now without incredible struggle. And start there. That's okay to start there. And then build your way up from there. Try to not stay there, building on what you're trying to do to work on your pain and have a regiment is really good, but don't should on yourself. Be self-compassionate. And I preach this so much and suck at it myself, so I'm really going to be trying to practice it now, and I encourage you to do the same, because I mean, as you know, having chronic pain, or if you know anyone who has chronic pain, it is just so tiring every day, every night to deal with that pain constantly. So the least you can do is try to be a little bit of self-compassion, or show yourself a little bit of self-compassion while you're going through this, and take it slow, but don't stop. That's the key thing in definitely dealing with chronic pain conditions. Don't let yourself stop. Keep working at it. Keep trying to build slowly on your ability to keep up with movement and your muscle strength and just overall management. And yeah, if you have any comments below regarding your experiences with maybe failing to keep up with certain self-care regimens or ways that you manage your chronic pain, please feel free to share that below. This is basically a journal to vent what I deal with fibro and my chronic pain, but also an opportunity to share and to allow you guys to share back any similar experiences we have. And if you have any tips on easy ways to keep up with your self-care, or just easy little things that someone can do to maintain their strength or their pain management regimen without it being hard on them, in terms of demanding, because we all deal with depression and such, please do feel free to share that, because everyone could use a little extra help. And as always, do join me again next week, where I try again to share a little something I've learned in life.